Nietzsche's work on the Antichrist, as we're moving into some of his much later works, is one which, of course, focuses on his criticisms of Christianity. So in The Antichrist, he argues that modern man and modern philosophy are sick. He says that the roots of our society are ill and that we need to go down to those roots to find out why they are wrong, why our society is based on an incorrect assumption about the world. So he claims that Christianity is the root of the illness, that Christianity is the plague underlying modern thought. And of course, this is linked to his revaluation of values, his idea that we've created metaphors of truth, that we've created our values around an understanding of the world which is not correct. So he says that Christianity rejects life, that it's built on hatred and resentment. And he says, I call Christianity the one great curse. Nietzsche's attack on Christianity and Christian morality sees Christianity as being responsible for the actual decline of Western civilization, because he says that Christianity has promoted what is bad for the individual, that it's created individuals who are weak rather than ones which are strong. He says Christianity has taken the side of everything weak, base, ill-constituted. It has made an opposition to the preservative instincts of strong life. So as we know, Nietzsche believes that Christianity focuses on the afterlife rather than this life. And he argues that the moral laws that we live by are laws that are created to satisfy another world, an afterworld, and that to live by rules that are created for another world can never be embracing of this life, because they are not rules that are based on this life. He says, God degenerated to the contradiction of life, instead of being its transfiguration and internal yes. So he's saying here that rather than God being something that was used to transform life and to encourage life, it has become something that works directly against life. As we know, he says that Christian morality is built on resentment and the celebration of the weak. He says, what is bad? All that proceeds from weakness. What is happiness? The feeling that power increases, that a resistance is overcome. What is more harmful than any vice? Active sympathy for the ill-constituted and weak. Now here we see ideas of the will to power, which again crop up in a lot of his work. So the will to power, of course, is the idea that we all have this desire for power and that there is an underlying will to power running through society. And of course he links this to religion. But he's saying that Christian morality has worked against this, that it's promoting everything that comes from weakness, which therefore is going to work against the will to power. The feeling that power increases, he says, is linked to happiness. And by working against that, we are making people unhappy. So if we pull together Nietzsche's ideas here, we can see that what Nietzsche often sees is an underlying problem with society that he wants to help us to move past. We can often see Nietzsche as almost having an educator role, even though he would reject the role of a teacher. So he would see himself as an educator by example, not an instructor. Someone who has aspects to be emulated and admired rather than rules to be followed. Standards that he might want to raise rather than specific instructions. And he says in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, one repays a teacher badly if one remains only a pupil. Nietzsche in his work is writing for the higher man. He says, these alone are my readers, my rightful readers, my predestined readers. What do the rest matter? Now, This points us to another issue in Nietzsche's work, that he is, of course, an elitist. He doesn't think that we all have the potential to be the higher man. When he writes about herd instinct, he is saying that the majority will actually fall into nihilism with the death of God, that not everyone will be able to recreate their own values. Not everyone is suitable to become a reader of Nietzsche. So what does Nietzsche want to achieve through his work? Well, of course, he does want to focus on a revaluation of values, and this is one of the key things that we can pull from his ideas. He's encouraging others to become what they can be, and we can certainly see this in his work Ecce Homo, that he is talking about his process and how he has come to be as he is. And we can choose to be self-reflective in the same way, to try and achieve that revaluation of our values, to look at why we might hold the beliefs that we have, to look at the underlying beliefs of society, and to question where they might need adjusting. And Nietzsche says in Ecce Homo, "You have only to read this writing, breathe in the air of my writings." He believes that we can use his work to try and improve ourselves and society. Nietzsche's influence on philosophy, then, can be